Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Joker. I am tonight's entertainment. We're gonna do a video of the Batman, also known as the Dark Knight. And here we go. On that note, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. Yes, tonight is the Dark Knight, and I did just watch it. I turned it off 30 seconds ago. Oh boy, I may slip in and out of my Joker impression. I can't help it. I got the Joker on my brain, which is scary, psychotic. You wanna know how I got these scars? I got these scars from watching too many movies, like the Batman, especially Batman and Robin. Oh God. Whew. All right. Yeah, I can't help it. It's gonna come in and out. So Heath Ledger. First thing we have to talk about is Heath Ledger the perfect Joker. To a lot of people, he is. A lot of people still have love for Jack Nicholson. A lot of people have some love for Jared Leto. Some of them want to give him more of a shot, and I agree. We should give him more of a shot. His 10-minute cameo is pretty sad. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I will give him a chance. My personal Joker is Mark Hamill's Joker. And I'm contemplating doing my Hamill Joker impression. I think I'll wait for our other videos. Every once in a while, I'll throw in a little impression, if it's relevant. Next video, you'll probably recognize, oh yes, I was wondering, that Bane voice. So, but for sure, Heath Ledger is up there as the Joker. If he's not, he's certainly number 2 for me. I mean, I grew up with Mark Hamill's Joker more, so Heath Ledger's is just so good, though. Oh, man. Now, I'm going to confess something. When this movie came out, I was thinking the same thing everyone else was, which was, holy shit, Heath Ledger is dead, and this is it. Apart from the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, this is it. This is his last full performance. And I don't know if anyone else thought of this or shared this thought like I did. Part of me thought that he got his Oscar because he had died. I admit that. I thought it was the Academy doing not a bad thing. They were definitely doing something great for his family and for his legacy. And he did work his ass off for this role. I mean, he literally died for the role. After rewatching The Dark Knight again and going into it full force, trying to imagine it from a first-timer's perspective, even though it's not my first time watching this, I am more of the opinion that he earned his Oscar and he would have stood up there, statue in hand, proudly fucking doing a Joker impression or his Joker voice, saying, I'd like to thank the Academy, and scaring the fuck out of everyone and getting huge applause. Heath Ledger earned this Oscar. Not just because he died for it, not just because he worked his ass off for it, but because there were many, 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 many times I forgot this was Heath Ledger. I didn't even recognize him when the movie came out. All the promo stills, when the first trailer came out, I'm like, that does not look like Heath Ledger. There's something about the eyes, there's something about the teeth, something about the grunginess, even the Glasgow smile. There's something about that combination where he did not look like the handsome, charming, shy guy that we all loved. So, to me, he fully embodied the Joker. This is a different take on the Joker, but this represents a lot of what the Joker represents: anarchy, chaos, a lack of origin story. We don't know shit about this Joker. A lot of people have come up with theories that maybe he was in like the army and the scars came from the army. He has training in hand-to-hand combat. He knows how to fire guns. He has a tactical mind of how to spring a trap and how to initiate shit. He looks very much like he has a military mind. Even the scene where he is without his makeup in the policeman's garb, he knows the routine of turn, right face, all that shit. So that theory's pretty sound. And I still like the fact that we don't know anything else about him. We don't know his name. We don't know really truly how he got those scars. We don't. And the fact that he gives conflicting stories twice, almost 3 times, fuels that. It makes us always, we're always, it keeps us on our toes. We don't know what to expect from this Joker. The first scene alone, he throws us off. Bank robbery, and he has all his men kill each other without, thinking they're going to get the other person's share. He's the last man standing. And a bank clerk with a shotgun tries to corner him, yells at him. He gets shot down, but he's still alive. The Joker places a grenade in his mouth, and the string from his jacket is connected to it as he's walking away, and he gets in the truck. The bus drives away. The pin pulls out, and we're expecting a boom, but gas comes out. It's a dud. He just likes to fuck with people. I mean, he at one point claims, "Do I really look like a guy with a plan? I don't know. I'm like a dog that chases cars. I don't know what I would do if I caught one. I just do things." Not true. He plans very well. He is a fucking genius. And he's scary and he's psychotic. So, I tip my hat to Heath Ledger. There's a documentary coming out about him. You know what? I was curious to see it, and now I really want to see it. That being said, is Bale good in this as Batman? You know what? He's good for this movie. But I still, like I said in the previous video, as good of a Batman as he is, he wasn't really my particular Batman. I still had some issues with him. Particularly his voice. And I mean his Cookie Monster, angry as fuck. "Where's the trigger? Where's the Give me my cookie?" Yeah. I have a hard time listening to that voice. I also have a problem with his fighting style. It looks very choreographed. And it's nice to see Batman using some higher ranking of martial arts as opposed to the other films, which is just punch, sweep, kick, meet, really basic, more of a obviously choreographed type thing. I just felt like Ben Affleck did a better job at fighting. It looked more raw, it looked more improvised, whereas, I don't know. For this movie, this Batman works. You cannot put any of the other Batmans, including Ben Affleck, and putting him in this movie would not work. So, Bale, as this Batman, works for this movie. The voice still bothers me. And then I noticed something else he does. When he speaks, or in this case growls, he doesn't close his teeth. He talks like this. And he has a slight, weird, lisp. and it's really the teeth don't close, and you see his tongue kind of darting in, and maybe that was just Bale's method for growling in an American accent because he's Welsh. But I remember seeing that and being like, his fucking mouth pisses me off. I told my friends repeatedly, like, the movie was fucking amazing, but his mouth pissed me off for some reason. And I rewatched it. I understand what. Just so I'm nitpicking. I admit it. I'm not trying to break a film based on someone's mouth. Let's move on. If you had taken the Joker out of this movie, specifically Heath Ledger's Joker, this would not be the same movie. It would not be nearly as good of a movie. This movie is on the back of Heath Ledger, and he's kind of hunched, so that's kind of a good metaphor. He carries the weight. Everybody, not to say that he's the only good thing in this movie. Aaron Eckhart is really good as Two-Face. This was what was lacking from Tommy Lee fucking Jones. The burn looks real. The eyeball with no eyelids is terrifying. You see bits of bone in his skin. He's got scabs and shit, and he's got his comb over still. And I like it's not perfectly symmetrical. It's kind of just it's off kilt, and I like that. I don't believe a perfectly symmetrical burn is possible. And I like the coins, and I thought Aaron Eckhart did a great job, because for the first half of the film we are watching him try to be good, try and be Gotham's White Knight, but we see hidden layers of a psychotic persona that we're intrigued by. And then once he makes his, I was going to say full transformation, but now half transformation, it just breaks. And he is psychotic. And he's angry. And this was exactly what I wanted but we never got until this time. I still think to do a really good Two-Face, it would be nice to see the madman arguing with himself, so to speak. You know, him being great, angry and psychotic, and then having Harvey Dent talk. Well, listen, Batman, I don't really agree with you, but I'm going to kill you. Like that kind of crazy schizophrenic bipolarness, just okay, I don't know who I'm talking to. That'd be more terrifying. That's a villain that keeps you on your toes. So Eckhart did a great job. I got to give props again to Gary Oldman as now Commissioner Gordon. I always preferred his Gordon to anybody else's. I'm looking forward to J.K. Simmons, but like I said in the previous video, Gary Oldman playing a sympathetic hero, a good guy, was a brilliant decision. And I don't know if that was Christopher Nolan or if that was Gary Oldman himself, but it works. It really, really, really works in this. And like I said in the last video, I'm probably more interested in his journey into being Commissioner Gordon in this film than I am of Batman. And I love Batman. I'm a Batman fan, clearly. By the way, I know I've been wearing this shirt in the past bunch of videos. I did do laundry yesterday. So this is pretty clean. I don't want people to be like, he didn't change shit for a week. I did my laundry, don't you worry. I did have one person text me and be like, did you fucking wear the same shirt for a whole week? I'm like, no. So, who else? Maggie Gyllenhaal. Maggie Gyllenhaal was a nice, was such a sense of relief than Katie Holmes. And I said it before, Katie Holmes cannot act. Maggie Gyllenhaal, I've always had a thing for. I've always been amazed by her. I like her a whole lot more than her brother, Jake. Although Jake surprised me with Southpaw. I was really impressed with that. But Maggie, she works better in this film. She does a better job. And I like to imagine that Maggie and Heath talk to each other about how, like, Heath and Jake Gyllenhaal made out a couple times. She's just like, so, you talking to my brother? Oh, God, what do you want? You want to? He gave me a couple scars. I just think that's funny, just to imagine that on set. Okay, who else? Morgan Freeman comes back. Morgan Freeman, like I said in the last video, I'm a big fan of the James Bond series, but my favorite parts are always when Q is talking to James Bond, be like, here's your next gadget. Like, don't fuck this one up. And I like those scenes in The Dark Knight where Morgan Freeman and Batman are talking about, like, I want to move my head, and I want to look out. And Morgan Freeman's like, I'll see what I can do. And pulls out, like, does some more gadgets and gives him a better suit. Much better suit than the last one. And new gadgets and everything. And I love those parts. Then we talk about Michael Caine. I can't do a Michael Caine. As Alfred. And like I said in the last video, he works in this movie. He works on this trilogy. This Alfred works. You couldn't get Michael Goff or Jeremy Irons for this Batman. So it works for this one. He does show more of a dramatic side in this. You do see a bit of more of a father-son relationship. And I like that. Because the previous video is all about guilt, specifically about his father's death. This one is, they don't cover that at all, which I like. We don't have to go into the psychoses of Batman anymore. Let's just have a really good Batman movie. And that's what's awesome about this movie is this, while it's not a faithful comic book adaptation, it is definitely the most realistic, meaning in real life, interpretation of Batman. In other words, you can imagine this Batman roaming your city in military type garb, in a giant tank as a Batmobile, which I forgot to mention in the previous video. The Tumbler in the previous video is great, and it's great in this one. I like that he sacrificed it, and you're like, oh fuck, the Batmobile is dead. Oh shit! And then he fucking zooms out of there with a Bat Pod. That was awesome. I love the Bat Cycle. Whatever the fuck you call it. I call it Bat Pod. But yeah, this is a fantastic film. There's a couple parts that I never realized. One, when the Joker gets captured. And by the way, spoilers. If you haven't seen this fucking movie, you're like the one person. My dad's almost 80. He saw this. He didn't understand shit, but he saw it. There's a couple parts when the Joker gets captured by the cops, and they're going through his coats, and all they're finding, like Gordon says, there's nothing in his pockets but knives and lint, and they just keep pulling knife after knife after knife. The last knife that's pulled out is, I shit you not, a potato peeler. And they really focus on it for like a good 2 seconds, and you can see the cop is kind of like, what in the fuck? So that's how crazy this guy is even as obsessed with the knives as he is, he still has a potato peeler. And I don't know if anyone else has ever commented about that. It's actually pretty fucking funny. And I had to rewind. I'm like, no, that's a small knife. It's a fucking potato peeler. And I that is pure Joker. You're like, what am I going to do? I ran out of my knives. Well, I'll just shave you repeatedly. That's what I'll do. And that's pure classic insanity Joker. So we have to talk about the process for Heath. Heath went deep down to play the Joker. He based a lot of his performance on Clockwork Orange by Malcolm McDowell's performance. You could see there's some Sid Vicious in there, the grunginess, the unkemptness. He plays him kind of like a heroin act. But then I discovered something maybe about a year ago where I saw an interview in the 70s of Tom Waits. Tom Waits is, he's kind of moving around, and he's got the exact same fucking voice. He's like, I got a cigarette. Where can I put my? And he's fucked up on something. And he's just moving around. He's squirrely, and he's not doing the tongue lip thing, but he's always, what are you doing? And the interviewer is kind of like, I don't know what to fucking do with this guy. And I don't know if the timing is right or off, but Tom Waits was in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which was officially Heath Ledger's last film. Maybe, he has started doing the Imaginarium the same time, if not a little bit before Dark Knight, met up with Tom Waits, and maybe got inspiration. That's what I think. And you can find the clip on YouTube. It's there. It's him. And like I said, Tom Waits is like, he's lighting a cigarette. He's just like, you have an ashtray. I need to put my cigarette out. And he lights up another way. He's like, how you doing? What's going on? And it's there. Heath Ledger wrote a diary. And he wrote a diary in the voice and mind of the Joker. And there's footage. There's something with like Heath Ledger's dad. I don't remember what show it was. Something on Netflix about like Too Young to Die, I think was what it's called. I think the first episode's Heath Ledger. And it shows him going through the journal. And it's psychotic. And I mean, Ledger for a month locked himself in a hotel room, practicing the voice, wrote this journal, had like a collage inside the journal of like random photos and clowns and stills from Clockwork Orange and Sid Vicious and shit. It was crazy. And ultimately it led to his downfall. He was having trouble sleeping, and I don't know if the Joker role had something to do with that, but it made him have severe insomnia, and then he overdosed on the sleeping medication. And, the hardest thing about watching this movie is realizing the talent is gone. You could have bet the Joker was supposed to be the Dark Knight Rises. They allude to that in this film. It's just like, we're supposed to just be doing this forever and ever. This is too much fun. Like, you can see that they had a final showdown. Maybe Bane was supposed to show up. Maybe, Ra's al Ghul was supposed to come back from the dead. Whatever. But the Joker was supposed to have something go on. It's pretty sad. And like I said, he earned his Oscar. So, the music in this is a million times better than Batman Begins. I didn't even notice the theme in Batman Begins. It may even be the same theme, but I know in this theme, the Dark Knight theme rivals the Danny Elfman theme. Danny Elfman's theme is much better, but this theme gets you pumped up. Dun, 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 dun. You're just like rocking out to fucking Batman. Just like, I can play this in my car and go, bam, 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 bam. I could rock out to fucking Danny Elfman's music too, so it doesn't matter that much to me. Christopher Nolan and his brother, Jonathan Nolan, wrote the script. I think they did a great job. There were some parts that were just a little convoluted, a little long. I mean, like I said, if you take Heath Ledger or the Joker out of this movie, you get kind of a long, convoluted, hi cat, kind of boring film. Even with Harvey Dent, even with everything else, it goes a little too long. The boat scene was kind of not needed. It didn't really prove anything. It had kind of a plot hole. You know, something could have... it didn't flow well, and I know the whole point was to show that, like Batman says, can you fuck off? Batman didn't say that. That would be great. Can you fuck off? You try to prove that... I'm not going to do the Batman voice. It's going to fuck up my throat. That you're going to try and prove that everyone's as ugly as you are because both boats won't turn the key and blow the other person up, blow the other boat up. And you see that kind of look of disappointment on Heath Ledger's face. It didn't really need to be said. You know, anybody could look at the Joker and be like, there's no one this fucked up. The Joker is a unique fucking individual. Another Joker scene I really enjoyed is when he's in his cage after he got arrested. He got captured. And they just promoted Commissioner Gordon. And everyone's applauding. And then they all look and they see the Joker going. And from what I read, that was improvised on the spot. And Christopher Nolan's like, oh shit, film him, quick. Pure brilliant. I mean, brilliant decision, pure brilliance. It works. Like, maybe another issue I had was it felt like the Harvey Dent thing should have been saved for the third film. So they sort of crammed him in, and maybe that's why it felt like it had too much of a long running time. I mean, it's a long film. Not, ironically, as long as Batman v Superman, but still pretty long. Batman v Superman felt even longer because it didn't have Heath Ledger's Joker in it. Yeah, so easily it gets 5 stars for me. I mean, this is definitely one of the best Batman movies ever. You know, for me, Batman 89, Batman Returns are still up there. They don't hold up as well. But like I said, The Dark Knight is not without some flaws. The whole, you know, that one subplot where the guy finds out who, like, Batman's true identity is, that wasn't needed. It didn't need to happen. Yeah, we could have lived without that one. It was unnecessary. It didn't really move the plot too much. I kind of thought the sonar thing was a little too on the nose. And that could have been avoided as well. I don't know. There's some things that just don't flow well with me. But I will give it a 5-star rating. And yeah, let me know what you thought. Look, don't get me wrong, I love The Dark Knight. I just had some issues with it. But I will always forever keep rewatching it for Heath Ledger. And it's really sad that he died, but I'm grateful that the best thing that he could give us was his role as the Joker. So we'll always have that. And from what I read, it was his favorite role. It was the most fun he ever had on a set. Well, good night. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.